I wish it would.
I think Ward 2 commissioners should be excused to go.
My only question is, Tammy, if we start with Public Works, we still need to do the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer, and that's not on the Public Works agenda.
Let's start with city agenda and do that, and then move. Yeah, good point.
Okay,
Start with city
6/20/24.
agenda.
that's what I'm here for, to grade papers and,
Is it after that?
It's on the very back.
Okay, there it is. Sorry, my bad.
Because it's public agenda.
You got it.
Oh, no. I just lost at least a million.
I'm so glad that's on tape.
The attorney almost missed.
That was
You
worth it.
should have warned me.
I knew and I forgot.
Did you see Sarah jump?
Is there any way we can be professional tonight?
Oh, what's the point in that?
It's summer, I don't even know what day it is.
Okay, did you already see that?
Okay, Amy, would you please call the order roll call and establish a quorum for the city of Perkins, Tuesday, July 9th, 2024?
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Yes. Will you please stand and pray? Father, we come to you now and we just want to praise your holy name for who you are and what you've done for us in this city and our staff. Father, I pray that you would bless us with wisdom and discernment as we make decisions that affect the citizens of our city. Thank you so much for our city staff, our fire, and our police department. And I pray your blessings over all of them. In Jesus' precious name, amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I do not mind pausing this and going to Public Works if you'd like to.
No, ma'am. Carry on.
You want us to go to Public Works? Carry on? Okay.
The city first.
All right.
I'm already here.
All right. Consideration and action on consent agenda. Commissioners? Anyone?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Yes.
6, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve purchase of 2020 Ford F-250 Super Duty Quad Cab pickup, VIN number ending in 6236, emergency management truck from Lincoln County at a cost of $38,000, utilizing American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of $24,000, fiscal year 2025 public safety sales tax funds in the amount of $10,000, and public safety sales tax prior year surplus funds in the amount of $4,000.
This is Eric, got with the emergency management people in Lincoln County. They're surplusing this truck. It's fully outfitted. He wants it, and it will allow us to take his current truck, which I think is a 2014 maybe, and pass it to Animal Control / Territorial Plaza.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of kills two birds with one stone.
Okay. Looks like a good price.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a 2020 Ford F-250 Super Duty Quad Cab pickup, VIN ending 6236, emergency management truck from Lincoln County at a cost of $38,000, utilizing the American Rescue Plan Act funds in the amount of $24,000, fiscal year 2025 public safety sales tax funds in the amount of $10,000, and public safety sales tax prior year's fund in the amount of $4,000.
All right. I second that.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I'm still laughing. Number 7, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve purchase order number 2407-194 in the amount of $38,000 to Lincoln County for purchase of 2020 Ford Super Duty Quad Cab pickup.
This will just allow us to pay them before the next meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve purchase order number 2407194 in the amount of $38,000 to Lincoln County for purchase of 2020 Ford Super Duty Quad Cab pickup.
I second it.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah? Yes. Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Yes. Number 8, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution 7-2024, a resolution amending animal control services and fees. Staff?
Mayor, Shannon, our animal control department head, had visited with us about wanting to just update some of the some of the fees. They haven't been touched since 2014.
Yeah, I'd noticed that.
Everything costs more. So just a little bit here and a little bit there. The one thing that you might note is that we changed the rabies vaccination from being a flat fee of $15 to being the actual cost, because that's what we need to do. We pay the veterinarian to do it, so we have to pay whatever he or she charges us. But other than that, you'll see that there are just some incremental increases across the board.
Like, I don't think the price is out of line at all, especially being 10 years and the cost of everything has gone up. So, it's very understandable. Commissioners, anyone?
Let me see that one. Oh, it's 2014. I only have the 2024.
Oh, you don't have the new one?
I looked at it, but let's look at it. Since I remembered it to be.
It's like $10, $5 here and there.
That's what I
It's
remember.
very fair, I saw $2. Anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 7-2024, a resolution implementing animal control service fees.
I second it.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Yes.
Number 9, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve Resolution 8-2024, a resolution providing for and setting contractor registration, planning, earth change, right-of-way, building, water and sewer connection, and fire sprinkler, alarm, and suppression fees.
This is a cleanup, basically, of a resolution setting fees that we already had. Changed some of the title, some of the language, and the only substantive changes are, number one, you may remember that, I think it was at the last meeting or very recently, you adopted a right-of-way management ordinance. And so we've included a right-of-way permit application fee, which prompted us also to include a earth change permit application fee. And then someone thought it was also a good idea to add a mobile home sewer and gas hookup fee. That apparently had been missed in the past. So those are the substantive changes to
Okay,
the
'cause-
fee schedule.
This came across last month, didn't it?
Not this one.
Not this one?
Recently, in the last couple of months, we did the whole big resolution. It hasn't been very long.
All right.
We
No,
try to put all the fees in one place.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, in a few places, but yeah.
Well, the last one was a ordinance amending. Okay, gotcha. Commissioners, anyone?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 8-2024, a resolution providing for and setting contract registration, planning, earth change, right-of-way, building, water and sewer connection, and fire sprinkler alarm and suppression fees.
I'll second.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Yes. Number 10, consideration, discussion, and possible action to authorize mayor to execute concurrence letter to the Oklahoma Department of Transportation for limit modification and posting of signs between city limits on South Main and Highway 33 on Highway 177 Main Street.
Changing the speed limit from 33 on Main, North Main, coming south to Kirk. It's 45 for 6 or 8 blocks, and then it goes to 35. This discussion started with the street light, and lowering it. So ODOT carried through what you would be agreeing to or not agreeing to is to reduce the 45 speed limit to 35. Everything else stays the same basically with new signage or different signage. There's a couple signs that are not placed exactly where they want them. And it goes all the way to the river, which we don't necessarily care about south of town, but they would post a couple new signs. But the actual change for our purposes would be whether or not you want to reduce the 45 to a 35. I thought it was a good idea to do it because
Just out of curiosity, who's pays for the new signs? Does the city or does ODOT?
the state.
The state pays for it? Okay. Yes, I agree with that.
I agree with it 100%.
Especially with all the sidewalks and things coming in and
Well, and as we
pedestrians.
develop,
Well, and the new residential developments as
Right.
well in that area up there is too.
Traffic.
I'm out of that area at Kinder Wells, and it needs to be slower.
Well, after my surgery, all I could do was walk. And I would walk and I'd be like, dude, it does need to be slower. I agree.
Does that mean the school speed limit will change as well? Because
No.
it
This is
doesn't.
not on 33. It's from 33 going south.
Oh, sorry, just kidding.
Yeah.
that's another battle.
Yet to be waged.
Yeah, I've been talking to them about and brought it up, but
So when they,
this requires them to do official speed studies and dedicate people and look at things, and it's kind of a process.
when we make them slow down, they'll look at the plaza and all the lights. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to execute concurrence letter to the Oklahoma Department of Transportation for limit modification and posting of signs for city limits on South Main and Highway 33 on Highway 177 in Maine.
I'll second.
Mayor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah? Yes. Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Yes. Thanks for asking permission to put my name on something. I didn't do that with DEQ.
Shit, make her happy.
I'm scared. Number 12, consideration, discussion, and possible action on declaring an emergency. Wait, did I skip one?
Yes, ma'am.
I did. Number 11, sorry. Consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve ordinance number 503 and ordinance amending section 8-4-17 sewer main extension of Perkins City Code Title 8, Planning and Zoning, Chapter 4, amendments, and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, you approved ordinance 499 at the March, I think it was March 12th meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
And as is required by state law, we provided that information to the Journal for it to be published. And somewhere between the city's email and the Journal's email, something happened.
Just an oversight.
It did not get published, which means therefore it can't take effect. So we had to renumber it, and we're asking you to approve it again so that we can try one more time.
Thanks for including all the emails. Makes the discussion easier. Commissioners, anyone?
No.
So we're just taking 499 and turning it into 503 and sending it to the Journal. So do we need a motion on number 11?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you, Kristen.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 503 and ordinance amending section 8-4-17 sewer main extension of Perkins City Code Title 8, Planning and Zoning, Chapter 4, amendments, and declaring an emergency.
I second it.
Mayor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Yes. Number 12, consideration and discussion and possible action on declaring an emergency on ordinance number 503. I make a motion that we declare ordinance number 503 an emergency.
Second.
Second.
Justin.
Justin.
Mayor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor? Sarah? Yes. Jason?
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Yes. Number 13, consideration, discussion, and possible action to adopt procedure for members of the public to speak at city commission open meetings.
Okay, this is a document that we are included in your packet called Request to Appear Before Board or Commission that has come up in discussions, and it came back up in discussion when you were talking, when we were bringing to you last month the issue of whether or not open mic time should be on an agenda. And we're taking this opportunity to kind of just organize meetings and think about meetings. And I think the consensus was that you guys should decide if this is a form that you want to use. And what it is, it's a form, it's a short version of a form that it has been used for some years now in at least 2 cities that I know of, in Bixby and Broken Arrow, because it was used when I was in those cities before the planning commission and city councils, and it does bring in some formality, which we haven't necessarily needed. As you can see, we don't have a whole lot of people show up for our meetings most of the time. But the reason that I think you might want to use it, and you may want to say, well, only if we've got 5 people showing up to talk, or only, if it's a public hearing that's on the agenda, you can decide when you want to use it. But I found it pretty valuable for a couple of reasons. Number one, and usually when we're talking about development, a development that someone wants to build that's different, and we can anticipate as we grow that this will happen. It happens a lot in Bixby and Broken Arrow because they're suburbs that are growing, and they're communities where there's established housing that's zoned R3. And then over here on this vacant land, they want to develop R4, which means a little bit smaller houses. And so then you end up with the neighbors coming from this area saying, oh, no, we can't have those smaller houses in our area. Or we were told when we were buying this property that the builder told us nobody would ever develop over there. I don't know how many times I heard that. But so it becomes a real issue with neighbors coming to talk about the other new developments. Or along your commercial strip, you'll have neighbors come. And so they'll rally each other. They all come in. If there's a homeowners association, they rally. I had one interesting commercial residential. It was a mixed-use cool village concept going in Bixby at one point, where 3 homeowners associations showed up for every meeting. And it was a great experience, really, from start to finish. But when you have people showing up, sometimes people want to come, they feel like they ought to talk to you, but they don't really want to. There's a place on this form where they can check a box that says, I support this, but I don't want to, I just want you to know that I support this, or I just want you to know that I oppose this. And that sometimes is helpful for people that won't necessarily sign up to speak. It also gives you the information for people who do want to speak, so that and again, we don't have this happen, and who knows when we may have it happen, but let's say that there are people who want to speak on 2 different items. Some people are here about this development, and some people are here about that development. Well, then you take the sheets where agenda item 7 and you put them together, and you take the sheets for agenda item 9 and put them together, and then the mayor or the planning commission chair, can kind of organize.
So would we have these at the back door, or would they have to get them online, or just have some pre-printed ones always at the back?
That's typically what it is, it's just printed at the back. Some cities, excuse me, have super controlled meetings where it's like you have to sign up and give that form to the city clerk before the meeting starts, or forget it, you don't get to talk. Most others say, just make sure you sign it up before, that you hand it in before the agenda item comes up, so we can call it. One of the reasons, and I hate to almost say this out loud, but I had an experience where it was in Bixby. It was one of the, I think it may have been that same development, but I got to know some of the presidents of the homeowners associations. They came to different meetings, and there was room full of neighbors. And I sat next to the planning commission chairperson, and I gathered all the papers on this particular item, and I saw that I'll never forget this woman named Jan, super smart, and she was the president of a homeowners association, and everybody got 5 minutes to talk, and that can go lots of different ways. I pulled her sheet and I put it on top because I knew that she would respect that 5-minute rule, and she would be able to show everybody else what was supposed to happen. And she got up, it was so great. She said, okay, here's the thing. They're saying that this building over here, this area over here is supposed to be for senior living, but there's no elevator, so I don't understand how that's gonna happen. And they said that over here, it's supposed to be a brick wall, and there's no brick wall. So that developer went back and put an elevator in 2 buildings, but then she goes, oh, and my time's up, and she sat down. And because she knew the rules, and she was trying to be respectful, and that meeting went so much better after that because she had set the tone. And so I'm not saying you necessarily want to jerry-rig the order of people, but the form does kind of give you that opportunity. So that's just I'm just throwing that out there. We don't have to use it. We don't have to use it all the time. It can be back there. It's your decision. Staff may have other comments to add.
I like that
I
idea.
like it.
I do too.
I think it protects all of us. And yet, we're still allowing people to voice how they feel about a certain agenda item. It's just, I think it will help both ways.
We're not blind, we wouldn't be blindsided either.
Right.
I agree, I like them, but will these be destroyed afterwards or held onto? Just because I know people
scanned in.
out.
They get scanned in.
Like with the rest of
Yeah,
that.
so that is one thing, and it did come up once somebody wanted theirs back. And it's like, no, once you've turned it in, it becomes a public record.
Right.
So it would need to be kept by the clerks and
Print it off.
scanned in, and that also gives them real good records of who spoke,
Does that need to be noted on the form so that people filling it out does know that it's gonna be part of an open record? Just to cover anything.
Put an asterisk at the bottom.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Can they still turn it in if they still want to be anonymous?
I guess if they just want to check the I don't wish to speak, they could. But obviously, if they're going to speak, they can't be anonymous. They have to identify themselves.
So you don't technically need a record of the individual's name.
You do.
If they speak.
So that,
Oh, if they're not going to speak. No, I guess you don't. Although normally the way that citizens speak to you guys is by email or by, I guess they could show up and talk to you, and there's no record of it. I'm saying outside of a meeting.
I was just wondering, so you scan these in if they needed their name or not?
If they wanted to check the box, I do not wish to speak, however, record my support or opposition, they wouldn't have to.
One of the reasons I asked that is because just me, I've seen it happen. One person will pick up a couple and pick I support and then turn it in if you don't have to put your name on it.
Oh, that's a good point. Then we don't.
If you want to
That's a
keep
really
track
good
of
point.
who is speaking or who supports.
They have to be, well, normally, if you're gonna come to a meeting and be heard, you have to identify yourself. And you are being heard when you fill out this form, saying, I don't support it, or I do support it. So that's a good point. I think it makes sense to add that this document will become a public record. She's already written it out.
Just
Good.
like,
Yeah, but I think it's also, now that you say that, it's a good idea not to have it, if you're gonna turn it in, you gotta identify yourself. You need to be heard.
So, do we, make a motion here, or do we wait until the asterisk is added? What would you
just allow you to
advise?
Yeah, let me see, how did we word this? You could just say, motion to approve the adoption of a request to appear form as discussed.
Commissioners, anyone?
Sounds good.
All right. I make a motion that we adopt procedure for members of the public to speak at a city commission open meetings.
Second.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah, Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica,
Yes. Number 14, consideration, discussion, and possible action to select a date for a special meeting for combined training scheduled for the City Commission, Planning Commission, and Board of Adjustment regarding the comprehensive plan, zoning, and subdivision regulations. Weren't we looking at August?
we were looking at August 20th and August 22nd. And wait for it, August 20th, all board members are available,
Of the other boards?
of all of the boards. And everyone but one could attend August 22nd. One is unsure. Everyone said they could be there at August 20th.
I resigned from umpiring, so just be good. I did.
I'm becoming president, so I'm not available.
I'm good with the 20th.
Yeah.
I'm
Should be.
available either way.
Yeah, I'm available either or. There'll be a softball game that day, but it's not gonna be a big deal.
I'm good. I'll make it work.
I'm good on the 20th
On the 20th, but not the 22nd?
or the 22nd, sorry. Either one.
Yeah, everyone but one board member not in this board was available on both dates. So there was just one not certain on the 22nd date.
So the 20th, everyone could be there?
Yes.
Sounds like that's your date.
We'll be here at the Vassar Center.
Vassar Center. As long as it's
Vassar
available.
Center.
We'll have to check and make sure there's no reservation.
As long as it's not in the front yard.
Actually,
Just kidding.
the 22nd might be better for me. My colleague, one of my coworkers in Stillwater broke her arm, and I may be covering Planning Commission meeting in Stillwater on the 20th. I wouldn't have to. Someone else could do that, but if the 22nd works for everyone but one person,
Yeah, one was just a
But
not.
you said you're gonna miss a game if you do it on the 22nd?
I'm gonna miss a game
Either way.
one way or the other.
Either way.
So either day's gonna work.
This fly is annoying me.
Is that okay?
And then I look stupid on
And
camera.
really, I won't miss much because they start at 5, so.
And this will start at 6.
We're gonna have it at 6. Okay.
Can we say the 22nd?
I can.
We don't have to decide that.
Yeah, we'll cook something.
Brisket.
Okay. I don't know that there needs to be motion on that, do you think?
I don't know. It's on there for
How did we word that?
CDPA.
Okay, make a motion, somebody, if you will.
I make a motion to select August 22nd at 6 PM for a special meeting for combined training scheduled for the City Commission, Planning Commission, and Board of Adjustment regarding the comprehensive plan, zoning, and subdivision regulations.
Second.
You're welcome.
Is that Justin?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Yes. Number 15, new business. Under the Open Meeting Act, this agenda item is authorized only for matters not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda or any revised agenda. Nothing. Past number 16, I make a motion that we adjourn the City of Perkins regular meeting Tuesday, July 9th, 2024.
Is that you, Jason?
No, it was Justin.
I think Jason had it first. It was just very quiet.
Here we go.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Yes. I got it.
We need to rediscuss a contract for the city manager.
No kidding.
Can you put that on the
I
agenda?
love it. Thank you.
Okay, we will open the Perkins Public Works Authority meeting Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Amy, will you do a roll call? Establish a quorum, please.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Yes. Item number 2, consideration and action on consent agenda. Commissioners?
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Yes. Moving on to number 4, consideration discussion with Jason Horton of Wright Water Corporation regarding wastewater treatment plant status and operations. Thank you for waiting patiently.
So this is kind of an equipment approach, equipment status list that we have.
Oh yeah, I've got this. I can color code.
And it's been updated. The only thing that was not updated is the date on the very top of it. I do apologize. I went through everything else. Here's my card for anyone who needs to get hold of.
Oh, you're good.
So basically,
I stapled them, so.
anything you see in red is things that does not work at all. Anything that is yellow works but has limits. Green is fully operational. So we've already ordered, the first red item is the compactor. It's already been ordered. We're just kind of waiting on Hydroworth to come back with the motor, and they're going to install it shortly after. My thoughts moving forward is try to attack the red items, the more priority items, and try to get them knocked out completely. Anything that's going to affect what is keeping us from being in permit. DEQ is got the consent order that's been released, and we're trying to get everything away from that so that we can go back to normal and presume as normal. We've installed one of the pumps on the DE bay, on the non-potable. We're waiting on the motor itself to come back as well. It's being rebuilt. I've found a new way to keep the extra trash out of the decants, or excuse me, the effluent that's going to the river, by keeping the non-potable pump running at a very low pace. It takes any of that little flocculated particles that comes into the first chamber that settles out and returns it back to the belt press. It dumps it underneath the drain, which goes directly back to headworks. So it keeps it circulating so it never goes over the weir and never goes into the river. We have gotten 32 of 40 lights on one modular of the UVs working. We've had one good kill at 181. We had it go back up to 1,000, and then it jumped up even more. Our air compressor went down. Bob took the liberty of replacing the regulator that was on there. Napa came out, they did warranty it, so it was no fee to the city or anything on that. Bob replaced it and got it back up and running. However, there's a solenoid inside there that's leaking air really, really bad. So that solenoid will have to be replaced as well.
Is that the compressor that's over where the UV light things need to be replaced?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And one of those UV lights, I've got 32 of 40 that are working now.
Okay, I saw that, okay.
Anyhow, the second mod does need to be up and operational. Everything that I've looked at as far as how the schematics and the hydraulic flow of the plant works, 60% of both mods need to be working. That's the reason why we're having these little blips where it goes up and down on our E. coli. I have got quotes for all of the bulbs and the sleeves and ballast to be replaced. I'm waiting on that quote to come back. In that quote, I also added the item that's making it leak air so bad, which is a solenoid. So we can replace that on number one. Number two is just as bad. We'll probably have to order another solenoid shortly after. However, I believe that I had EL2, Todd Ray came out. He looked at the units. He believes that it would be a fool's errand for us to replace them. He said repairing them is the better option. They're still in good enough condition that he believes that they can be repaired with no problem. So that's the approach that I'm going to take, is to repair them.
So
Now,
can we order 2 solenoids at one time to have a backup?
That's what I was gonna suggest.
well, that was the next thing I was going to touch as well. I would like to get shelf spares for a lot of these items that are critical items that will keep us from falling out of compliance. Number one, the compactor for the Headworks bar screen, we need a backup pump for that, or a backup motor, excuse me. We need to make sure that we're not waiting 4 to 8 weeks for a new motor to come in. When it fails, we get it replaced and we send the other one off or order a new one right away. That way we're not down and all this trash is getting into the system and creating more problems. Because with that, we had to drain down SBR number 2 because of all the rags and debris that's in the bottom of it. They tried to lift one of the motors up and the cable broke. Well, when it fell back down, it tangled up in rags. I believe it broke because of all the weight of the rags on it. We made an entry into number 1 and pulled the rags from the excluders. It's been decanting really fast compared to what it was when I first came here. We're waiting on number 2 to be cleaned. We're going to put it back in service. 3 will be the next one. We'll drain down and get it cleaned as well. Number 2 has quite a bit of grit, rags, and miscellaneous items that go down the toilet. I'm not going to really call any names on that, but there's lots of items in there that really shouldn't be into a wastewater system, especially an SBR system, because it upsets it really bad. The next line item I'd like to speak about is the septic dumping. I've asked the gentleman that has been dumping in the manhole out front to no longer do that. I told him that he's welcome to dump into the FEB if he would like to, but he cannot dump into the system. He complied with me. He was fine with it, and while the facility is open, he'll come in and dump into the FEB, and it will not upset the system that way. Because everything that he's bringing in is depleted in oxygen. That's why it's considered septic. And it lowers the oxygen content in the SBRs. Well, with that, it's struggling to get oxygen back into the water, and it, to my opinion or my knowledge, it can't do it before the time that we have for it to do. So, I believe that's all I've got at this moment. Do you have any questions for me?
It's a lot.
There is a lot, and I'm trying not to hit you with very much right now. There's a few,
It's okay, we need to know. We appreciate you.
It needs to be done.
Yes.
yes, absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. I mean, I appreciate this, because this gives us, I mean, I think, it gives us an overview of what needs to be done right now in order to keep us going on the good trajectory.
And that's what
we've
this
got us going
equipment
on.
is for, is to kind of give you an idea of the trends of where we're going and how we're getting there. The things on the very outside on the contingencies, it lists whether it's a critical, important, or however the item may be listed. The more critical items is the things that I'm going to attack first.
So there was a troubleshoot or repair to a well pump last month? Was there a repair last month to a well pump?
What are you looking at, Mayor?
I'm looking at the purchase orders.
Brush pump.
Yeah,
Uh,
Rush Pump Company.
I don't know that they actually came out.
For 10 grand.
We opened a PO because we wanted them to look at well 7, the Ampride well.
Okay.
But I don't know that they actually made it here yet.
Okay. That's probably on a separate situation with what's gonna.
It's totally different than him.
Yeah, that's the picture.
Drinking water side
Gotcha.
versus wastewater.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I know you said you didn't have the quote back, but I'm sure you've been in contact with Bob about basically what it's gonna cost. Are you going to be able to get these parts in, or are we gonna need to wait till the next month to approve the purchase order, because it'll be above your spending limit? I just asked for time frame purposes.
Spending limit's 25,000 for me.
As far as parts, we should be below that.
Good.
Okay.
Must be the-
I think
so that's what I was getting after.
Well, and it wasn't the full order. I added more things to it, but the last time I looked at it, just to replace the bulbs was like 6,000. So we were under 10,000 with the bulbs and the ballast. Now adding the quartz sleeves to it and then adding, the extra solenoids should not be entirely too much more. Those are the cheaper items of that system.
Thank you.
Is the bar screen, is that the one we waited on for over a year?
Yes.
And it already needs a shaft replacement?
No, the bar screen, trash comes off the bar screen into a compactor that has
Oh, okay.
it's a separate, they're together, but they're separate.
So the shaft coming out of the bar screen?
Yeah, I think it broke the shaft in the motor
Okay.
on the compactor. So it's, the bar screen we bought's good, but we need the compactor shaft.
I know more about sewer now than I ever wanted to know.
Trust me, as the days go by, it gets better.
I could do a public announcement commercial about what to flush and what not to flush.
And honestly, flushable wipes is what kills us. That is the worst thing for a wastewater system.
Well, my son is vice president of a plumbing company in Stillwater, and he tells me all the time, if it says it's flushable, it's still not.
I'd agree with that.
How can they do that, just for advertisement?
Somehow, some way they found a loophole.
To sell money. Yeah, to make money.
I know Continental does have a big lawsuit against them right now to change what the package itself says. It cannot say flushable anymore. So I don't know what's coming of that, but there is a huge lawsuit against them right now
Wow.
because of what they're doing to the infrastructures of wastewater facilities.
And bigger cities like LA and Chicago, they have to get cranes to get wipes out of their sewer system. They ball up in those huge pipes.
I can't wait to text Jake tonight. You gotta see this.
Jason's been wonderful.
Huh?
Jason Horton has been wonderful.
Well, we appreciate you.
And Brightwater, everybody from Brightwater's been good, but
You guys have been a godsend, and I know that him alleviates some stress for him.
100%.
DEQ.
Well, and that's another thing is I do keep updated with DEQ. Tu Nguyen is our local representative for this area. I included Bob with the last one that I sent, and here moving forward, I will CC him and all of the updates that I give to Tu Nguyen, and he will have the same information that I'm sending to DEQ.
And you'll forward that to us?
Yeah.
Okay. because I have a consent thing on my desk, and I just
Sure, we
marked off.
don't miss those dates.
It gets accomplished.
We're in good shape right now.
Uh,
We've been hitting permit limits kind of on and off, but we're light years better than we were,
A couple months ago.
yes.
And that was another thing with the plant is the wasting had gotten so far out of control that it was in the 7,000s for the MLSSs. They need to be around a 2,000. So we've gotten the wasting under control. Out of the two that are functional right now, one SPR is at a 3,400 and the other one's at a 2,800. And we're just going to continue to lower them down. If you try to waste them all at one time and get it down, you'll shock the system.
And are the computers out there working properly for you in the office, or?
I'm not going to say yes to that.
Okay.
But I will say that we do have some
on our-
troubles.
your radar as
Yes,
well.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we'll need to we'll probably have to have an actual SCADA person come in and reset everything. I got on the phone with Mike Vernon, and we've adjusted it to the point that we're getting a lot better results from it.
Okay.
But I'm going to have them eventually come out here and just kind of reset the system and start over.
Okay. All right.
Any
Well,
other questions?
guys and gals, any more questions?
You're doing great. Keep up the
Yes.
good work. Thank you.
I appreciate y'all's support. That makes it easier on me.
Mr. Horton, we really do appreciate you. So there'll be no motion or anything on that, will it? Okay. So item agenda number 5, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve agreement with Whitewater Corporation for a monthly service fee of $9,966.06 to operate the wastewater treatment plant for 1 year, subject to negotiation and approval of acceptable contract by city attorney. Thank you for putting a 0 in between those 6s.
That language was put on the agenda, which was Wednesday, I think. We had not come to final agreement as far as the subject to acceptable contract. What was provided to you, handed out to you, I think today, is an agreement. It's what they've agreed to do. It's what we believe, Bob and I are okay with. So you have that agreement. Bob realized that somehow the signature page is missing. It is only
I made the
signa-
copies.
It is only the signature page that is missing. So if it is approved, Mayor, you'll need to come in later and sign it if you don't mind.
What day?
Whenever.
I don't even know what day it is. Just kidding. I'm bragging. I can come in anytime.
But, yeah, any questions, Bob or me on that?
Mayor, we could bring it with us tomorrow to the luncheon since you're gonna be there anyway.
Sure. Be great. Get me there early.
Just like 10 minutes.
All right, so commissioners, any questions on that or any statements?
No, it was very clear.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve the agreement with Whitewater Corporation for a monthly service fee amount of $9,966.06 to operate the wastewater treatment plant for 1 year. Do I read the rest of that? Okay.
I'll second that.
Mayor?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Sarah? Yes. Susan?
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica?
Feel free to leave, Mr. Horton, if you want to leave. You don't have to stay till the end, but,
We just have one more.
huh?
I'm a trooper. I'll stay tuned.
Okay, we're almost done. Number 6, consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve resolution number 6-2024, a resolution amending water rates and sewer service charge and establishing utility deposits, new service fee, late charges, service call fee, water and sewer tap fees, and landlord administrative fees. Staff?
This may look familiar because you approved one that looked very similar to this last month. And it did incorporate the increased rates. We had taken off of the prior resolution rates applicable to sewer service outside city limits because we didn't think that sewer service only outside city limits because we didn't think we had any. We didn't think that our sewer system was connected to any commercial or residential buildings outside of city limits or at all, and that proved to be incorrect. I think there's 3 houses or 3 buildings that unfortunately are connected and have sewer only at this point. It is, again, something we're gonna hope to avoid in the future. But since there are, we've added them back on so that the costs are set. Not because we want to add customers to that category, but it's a change there.
Yeah, we want to make sure it's worded correctly. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Commissioners, anyone?
Make a motion to approve resolution number 6-2024, a resolution that rates and sewer service charge and establishing utility deposits, new service fee, late charges, service call fee, water and sewer tap fees, and landlord administrative fees.
I second it.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Yes. Number 7, consideration, discussion, and possible action to adopt procedure for members of the public to speak, Perkins Public Works Authority open meetings.
Same thing.
Same thing. Commissioners, anyone?
I'll make a motion to adopt the procedure for members of the public to speak at Perkins Public Works Authority open meetings.
I got your second.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason,
Yes, ma'am.
Veronica.
Number 8, new business. Under the Open Meeting Act, this agenda item is authorized only for matters not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda or any revised agenda. Number 8, I make a motion that we adjourn the Perkins Public Works Authority regular meeting Tuesday, July 9th, 2024.
Second.
Mayor,
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jason, Veronica.
So adjourned. I gotta keep my hold of it, somebody will take it.
Bob, we gonna fight.